Every full moon cycle, his hunger returned, and every full moon cycle, he resisted. For over 200 years, Dimitri had resisted the blood song that pulsed in his undead veins. All for her, all for Alara, his one true love. She was the only reason he hadn't embraced the insatiable thirst that came with his condition. But tonight, something was different. Tonight, the pull was stronger than ever before, and it awakened something dark and dangerous within him. Dimitri shifted, unease, twisting his features as he stared at the waning crescent moon hanging in the night sky. His amber eyes, usually gleaming with warmth and life, were now clouded with turmoil. The beast within him stirred, impatient, demanding to be unleashed. He could feel its dark energy thundering through his body, echoing the erratic beat of his heart. It had been 246 years since he succumbed to the curse of immortality, and all this time he'd managed to keep the worst of his vampiric nature at bay. But tonight, the full moon pulled at the feral strings within him, threatening to rip him apart from the inside out. Alara, sensing the turmoil in his soul, reached out to touch his arm, her aged hand trembling slightly. "Dimitri," she whispered, her voice laced with concern. Her touch was feather-light, yet it sent a jolt of electricity through him, grounding him for a moment in the present. He turned to her then, his expression pained as he tried to quell the rising darkness. "I need your help, my love," he said, his voice strained. It was a rare sight to see vulnerability etched on his eternally youthful face, but it was a testament to the internal struggle he was facing. Dimitri was known for his strength, his resilience, his ability to command both fear and respect. But right now, he was stripped, bare, exposed, and completely at the mercy of the ancient evil that coursed through his veins. For a fleeting moment, their eyes met, and Alara saw the torment raging within them. She understood that this was not merely a battle between flesh and spirit, but a war that raged in the heart of the man she loved. Dimitri was teetering on the edge of an abyss, and the full moon, like an insidious temptress, beckoned him closer. In the depths of his amber gaze, Alara saw the conflict, the eternal struggle between his humanity and his monstrosity. It was as if the full moon, with its cold, distant glow, was casting an icy hand over his soul, threatening to extinguish the flickering flame of his humanity. As the centuries had passed, they had made a pact born out of love, loyalty, and sheer willpower. Every full moon, Dimitri would withdraw into himself, battling the beast within, while Alara kept vigil. She sat by his side, her presence a soothing balm to his tormented spirit, whispering tales of the mortal world. Stories that once anchored him to his humanity, reminding him of the man he once was and the love that defined him. But tonight, the full moon seemed more powerful, its pull more intense, causing even Alara's unwavering resolve to waver. Could she really stand by his side and watch as the darkness threatened to consume him entirely? Or was there something more she needed to do, some greater sacrifice she had yet to make? She cupped his face in her wrinkled hands, her touch gentle yet firm. "You are more than the curse, Dimitri," she whispered, her voice resonating with the echoes of countless full moons past. "You are the love we have shared, the memories we have made. You are the hero who has resisted for all this time." Her words were a lifeline thrown into the tempest of his emotions, and for a moment, he clung to them, finding solace in the familiar cadence of her voice, in the unwavering devotion that shone in her aged eyes. But the beast within him stirred restlessly, impatient for release, and Dimitri knew that his resolve, like the daylight, was slowly fading away. He closed his eyes, willing himself to hold on, to resist the overwhelming urge to succumb to the blood song that echoed in his undead ears. "I know who I am, Alara," he murmured, his voice strained. "But the moon, it calls to me, and the longer I resist, the more it festers within." His words hung heavy in the air between them, a stark reminder of the eternal struggle he faced. Alara understood his torment, the inner turmoil that threatened to tear him apart. She had witnessed countless such battles, standing by his side through the darkest nights of his existence. But tonight, there was a raw desperation in his voice that tugged at her heartstrings. The realization dawned on her, as clear and inevitable as the sunrise. This was not just another night of the hunt. Something had shifted, changed, and she, with her mortal limitations, could not comprehend the full extent of it. She stepped back, her eyes searching his face, trying to decipher the emotions swirling within him. "Then you must go," she whispered, the word catching in her throat. She knew what it meant, the toll it would take on him, on both of them. But she also knew that sometimes, letting go was the only way to hold on. Dimitri stiffened at her words, his gaze dropping to the worn floorboards beneath their feet. He was a creature of the night, immortal, powerful, feared, yet in this moment, he felt a vulnerability he hadn't known he could feel. A vulnerability born out of the impending separation from the one constant in his unending existence. He reached out, his fingers grazing her cheek, his touch reverent, almost apologetic. "I don't want to go. Not without you," he confessed, his voice rough with emotion. 200 years of shared existence, of laughter and sorrow, of moonlight and blood, had woven a bond between them that defied the boundaries of mortality. But Alara's heart, though filled with an eternity of love for him, understood the necessity of sacrifice. "You must, my love," she said, her voice firm despite the tears that glistened in her eyes. The beast cannot be contained forever. When it breaks free, it will not be kind." Her words were a stark reminder of the danger that lurked within Dimitri, a danger that threatened not only himself but those around him. The thought of losing him, of having the darkness claim him entirely, was a terrifying prospect, but she knew that to hold on would be to invite tragedy. With a final, lingering kiss, Dimitri slipped out into the night, leaving Alara in the dimly lit room, her silhouette outlined against the pale moonlight streaming through the window. As the door closed behind him, she sank to her knees, the weight of their unspoken words pressing down on her like a shroud. And as the full moon reached its zenith, casting long, eerie shadows across the landscape, she was left with nothing but the echo of his footsteps and the promise of his return at dawn. The forest was his hunting ground. Dimitri moved through the trees with a grace that belied his centuries, his senses on high alert. The hunt had begun. Each rustle of leaves, each chirp of an insect was a symphony of sound to his attuned ears. As he ventured deeper into the woods, the scent of pine and damp earth filling his nostrils, he felt the feral side of him stir. It was as if the very essence of the forest, the primal, untamed spirit of nature, was resonating with the wild beat of his heart. The pull of the blood song was strong, insistent, urging him forward with a promise of satiation. But Dimitri resisted, drawing strength from the memory of Alira's tearful gaze, her parting words echoing in his mind. He wasn't alone in these woods tonight. A new presence had joined him, a woman whose scent was like a burst of honeysuckle in the night, whose energy crackled with an intoxicating allure. He sensed her watching him, her gaze unwavering, her steps silent, unsure. Curiosity piqued. Dimitri turned, his amber eyes scanning the shadows. And there she was, emerging from the darkness, her form as captivating as the moon that hung like a silver sickle in the inky sky. Her hair cascaded down her shoulders like a waterfall of midnight, framing a face that was both beautiful and fierce, her eyes shining with an otherworldly glow. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice a low growl. "Someone who knows your secret," she replied, her voice a melody of silken steel. "And someone who won't run from it." Her words hung in the air between them, a challenge, an invitation, a threat. And as Dimitri stared into her luminous eyes, he saw not fear, but understanding. In that moment, a spark ignited within him, a flicker of something long forgotten, the thrill of the chase, the joy of discovery. Could this be the beginning of a new chapter in his eternal existence? Or was it merely a prelude to a tragic end? Only time, that relentless sculptor of destinies, would tell. But as the full moon climbed higher in the sky, bathing the forest in its eerie glow, Dimitri found himself drawn to her, captivated by the enigma that she represented. The hunt, it seemed, had taken an unexpected twist, and he, the eternal hunter, was now the prey.